Hello, hello, hello. Tamara Hamilton here. I blog about the business of beauty. Okay, there we go. What am I doing? I don't know. We're going to talk about me scheduling my day though. So I definitely have my thoughts on taking control of your time and that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but we're just going to get some refreshing toner on because I'm feeling like I need to look at the weather. I need to see what's going on with the weather today because it is looking like it is it's looking like it's a pretty humid day. It's feeling like it's a pretty humid day. So what I'm going to do is check that out so I figure out what I'm wearing. I got a lunch date today, so just getting all toned and refreshed here. See? And I'm going to grab some eye masks really quickly because I like those right out of the freezer directly onto the face. I like those directly out of the freezer and right onto the face for maximum impact. And so we're going to open these up, and it is currently like 11:30 local here, 11:30 a.m. And so I posted last week about um, this myth that, because I dealt with this with friends and family for a while, thinking that they could call me and I could just do whatever it was they wanted to do or waste time talking to them. Ooh, that's cold. All day because I worked from home. You deal with people making those comments about your little business, this and that. Oh my God, that's cold. Whoo! That is really frozen. Whoa, 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 whoa. So, you deal with that. You deal with people making their comments about your little business and they would call like during the day because they were getting paid regardless. Hi there, hi beautiful. Thank you. You are blessed too. And so because they were working and getting paid regardless of what they produced until the boss, put them on a performance improvement plan and fired them, of course, that they could just call me and I could just chit chat. And it's like, oh no, boo. No, 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 no. It don't work like that for me. It does not work like that for me. And so that was one of the, I wouldn't call it pitfalls, but that was definitely one of the learnings that I had very early on was I had to set the expectation and set boundaries with friends and family like, hey, yo, I don't have all day to just sit on the phone and talk with you. And even members of my team, like, you realize if we are both on the phone with each other for hours during the day, how are we producing? And in the beginning, when you create an online business, you need to be producing in the beginning, right? You need to be much more active than you are at different phases in the life of your business. It's just the way that it is, right? I don't make the rules at all, right? It just is what it is. Okay, so the fact that every time I put these on recently, they keep sliding down tells me that my under eye has significantly improved because that didn't used to happen. So that was one of the things I had to teach people to understand and respect my boundaries, and people learned to what I call the rhythm of my business. So, they would know that and this I remember having this discussion with my business bestie recently, like in the last year or two, like for a while I had committed to doing a product overview or an opportunity overview like every Wednesday at like 7. And it's like, like there's nothing gets in the way of that, barring like family emergency or personal health emergency. Like that's the commitment that I made. So that's one of the things you have to do is you have to outline for people and let them know how when you are available. This is something that working moms, whether they're working from home, building a business from home, are dealing with, and that is making sure that their family understands and knows, like, hey, these are my business hours. When I'm working these hours, while I am physically here in the home, I'm not available. And you have to set those emergence those boundaries. And what comes with that is you have to let people know too. You have to show proof. Are you actually doing what you're supposed to do during that time? Because if you aren't honoring your own commitment, no one else around you is going to respect that boundary and your commitment to yourself. I don't know why YouTube keeps going out. I wonder if I left the streaming going upstairs. So, um, sorry about that. So, one of the best benefits of being able to design my day is, like, I hate to sound redundant, but literally that the fact that I get to design my day, right? One of the things that I learned really early on in corporate America was that my and it wasn't just corporate America. When I go back and I think to when I was a small kid, like, we had a bedtime. My mom was very big on routine. From as early as I can remember, we always had some routine. And I'm the generation that we had to be in the house when the street lights went on at like 5, 4, 5, and 6, right? And so we always had a bedtime up until we were like in middle school. By the time we were in middle school, we could stay up as late as we wanted, but she better not have any trouble with us getting ready for school the next morning. That was the caveat. And that was how I was with my girls too. Like, you can stay up as late as you want. However, when it comes time to get ready for school in the morning, I don't want no problems. You better get up, and I don't want no grief, right? But I never was a morning person. I absolutely was never a morning person. I you know, it, it always felt more energized and more creative later in the day. And that is one of the benefits. It's probably the top benefit of me being able to schedule my day. And that's what I was talking about in that post last week, about the myths of working from home. And I'm not sitting around scrolling social media all day aimlessly like other people. When I'm scrolling social media, it's with intent. There is a method to it. There is a rhythm to it. There is a reason, there is a strategy behind what I am doing on social media. It's not for play for me. This is for meat, right? This was for meat for me. And it's going to be for a lot more people with everything that's going on with food prices and that. I mean, I went to the grocery store the other day and got stuff for salads to make at home. I got juice, some dried fruit, and that, and it was $75. And there's a grocery store right in my neighborhood, so I walk, the 2 blocks there and back. So I had my backpack, and I had my juice in there, I had my almond milk in there, and 3 bags, and it was $75. And that's just for me. And it really literally was only a couple days worth of food, because it was mostly salad stuff for some sandwiches, and like healthy snacks like dried fruit, okay, like dates and cherries, and it was $75. So, more and more people are going to have to learn and put strategies in place in order to be able to maximize and monetize their social media. And recently I went live and talked about how now you can not only monetize, but you can also even run ads to your professional account on Facebook. So the tide is changing. The tide is changing. And that's why I love coming on here and sharing all of this information and these tips. So, like today, um, in that post, I shared my what a typical day is like for me, right? So I wake up, I make my bed, get into some meditation, doing my gratitude practice, do some praise and worship, because that always helps keep me bulletproof for the day and keeping my attitude and my emotions in check. Because you know how it is. You wake up, you slip on I wouldn't, but in some houses you step on a Lego and you trip and spill your coffee, and then the whole rest of your day is ruined. And I personally find that when I have spent some time, you know, inner and with the bigger, that all of that, even if that does happen, I'm still more resilient. I'm still able to bounce back, recover, and still have a great day despite that, right? Because there's a difference between you're having a good day because, accidentally, like your day started out bad, and then at the end of the day, you're kind of like, oh, but there's a difference between that and, okay, so this day didn't start off that great, but I'm intentionally going to make sure I bulletproofed myself. I'm intentionally going to make sure that it's a good day at the end of the day. There's a difference between that. And I'm not saying one is better than the other or one is wrong, but if I had to choose, I would choose to be intentional and not leave it to someone else or other things to happen externally versus me deciding internally and controlling my energy, my presence, myself. So if you would agree with that, let me know in the comments. So, I do some administrative things in the morning. And then, around 9, 10 ish, I start to get myself together, take care of my personal things like shower, decide what I'm going to wear and all of that. And then typically between noon and 2 is when I'm going to go live on TikTok and Instagram, which is live on Instagram. And then it's pre-recorded. I download it and stream it to Facebook within 24 hours. That's what works for me, right? But that's the beauty of me being able to design my day, because I remember the 45-minute commutes. I remember the 45-minute commutes that, depending on snow where I live, snowstorms and that can turn into 2 hours. And I remember this one time vividly. My man at the time was upset because I hadn't called him. And this was back like when cell phones were like Primeco phones. And so the phone had died and I didn't have a car charger. And so I couldn't call anybody and say, hey, I'm stuck in traffic. I don't know what's going on, but traffic is horrible. I'm in the car, like bladder on full, and I still have like 40 minutes to go, typically on a good day. But this is the worst day. I have no idea when I'm going to get home. And I remember walking in the house and saying, no, I didn't call you and let you know that I'm okay. I'm stuck in traffic. My phone died. I gotta pee. Do not do not mess with me, right? In one hand, it was a blessing to have that time in the car to leave work at work and get home and be focused on home. But there were times like that where it wasn't that great, or when you're just stuck in traffic and traffic is a beast for no reason. Or, I work all the way out southwest, and so I got to drive past the stadium and it's baseball season or it's the state fair. And so now there's this extra added time into my schedule, right? And so that's the beauty of it, is there's less of that stress of driving. I mean, I'm sure that that might not be the case for everybody, but for me, the commute was not something overly enjoyable. And yes, I would listen to podcasts, listen to music and that, but it just was not something that was overly enjoyable for me. Okay. So that is also one of the benefits of me being able to um, control my day, decide what and where I'm going to do it. I also, like I said, I can work more from my peak state because I am deciding what I'm going to do when, right? I'm the owner of my calendar. I can say that. And yes, I will be very transparent and tell you I have lost clients or not earned clients' business because I was not available when they wanted me to be. And the way that I look at that is those were just not the clients for me, because nobody's going to dictate to me when I work and what my calendar is going to be. I decide, no one else. I'm going to decide what I do and when, okay? And so because here's the deal. A happier me is going to be a more productive me. A relaxed me is going to be a more productive me compared to the me that is stressed and dealing with unnecessary stresses. It doesn't mean life is going to be stress free. It's just more controlled and even minimal when you are the one deciding, because here's the deal, the schedules we are all working on, especially from a corporate standpoint, are based on agriculture. They're based on industrialism and what was best for the company, what was best for the owner of the company, and what they felt and what they wanted people to do, right? And in this world we live in now where everything is moving toward the metaverse, I just don't see where we need to be confined to that. And like, who decides that you're a bum because you might not get up until 10, 11 o'clock, which I'm known to do in the winter, not so much in the summer because the sun, my body is on that sun clock. But in the winter, when the sun isn't there, my body just does its own thing. And I'd rather wake up when my body wants to wake up versus when someone, 100 years ago felt I should wake up, right? 100 years ago, 200 years ago felt like, and so who is the person, who is the authority that decides and says that you're a bum for that, right? How and what made them God? What made them determine, right? Especially because here's the thing. In the winter, I may get up later, but I'm also up a lot later in the winter. I'm up and working a lot later, sometimes till 2, 3 a.m. So, am I really a bum? And no, I'm not behind. I'm actually ahead because I was up till 2 to 3 a.m. and I've got things scheduled and I've got automations in place and I've got things going where I can do that. And so, no, I'm not taking appointments or meetings based on what is best for someone else. I'm doing it based on my own health, my own mental health, my own physical health, and that's just that. And what is for me is for me, and it will find its way to me. But this idea that you're less productive or you're lazy or a sluggard, nobody says that to people who work second or third shift, but because you work from home, people will assume that it means certain things, and it doesn't. They actually have nothing to do with each other. So that's the real most noticeable thing for me and me being able to determine my day. I honestly feel like I'm more productive. I truly, truly feel like I'm a lot more productive. I'm definitely a lot happier. I'm definitely much less stressed. And when I say stressed, I mean we all face different stresses even throughout the day. Like, you might be in the car and have to come to a sudden stop that you didn't expect to come to. You might be dealing with all kind of other little minor things throughout the day. But I'm just talking about like those things that add up and become that whole chronic stress. Nobody wants to. At least I don't. I don't want to live like that. So constantly under that stress. So carve out some brows here. That one always ends up a little thicker. Okay. Let's close that up. And here is a sponge. Gonna wet that and blend it out. Because we're just doing minimal makeup here. Minimal. Okay. And there we go. And oops, where did it go? There we go. And now we get some gel. About time to get a new one. Thought I had an extra one. And then just go back here with some more, even some of the eyeshadow. Oh, that looks nice. I like a lot. Okay, and we have brows. We have brows. Brows are a good thing that they are. Can always count on and love some good brows. Really want this to dry a little bit more. I think I am going to stop Instagram and come back just because it keeps fading. Okay. If you continue this live, well, I think it might be discarded then. So I really am going to end up having to take these off. I'm really warm right now. It's so humid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it to really push the product down into the skin. And oh, I just love doing this. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go now because I don't want to take these off just yet. So I might come back and finish on camera, but you might just end up seeing the finished product. Either way is fine with me. Bye.